there are 7 things that can raise your frequency. The first one that can raise your frequency is your thoughts. Proverbs 23:7, it says this, "As a man thinks, so is he." And quantum physics is very interesting because quantum physics is now discovering that your thoughts and your beliefs are everything, including how the world around you actually responds to you. Scientists will tell you there's 2 ways that light appears. It appears as waves and it appears as particles. And they say that now, according to quantum physics, if you expect to see waves, that matter will respond to you and show you waves. If you expect to see particles, matter will respond to you and show you particles. In other words, you have way more control over how things go than you might have imagined possible. Now think about it. Have you ever had a day and you just woke up and you knew everything will go my way today? And then everything does. Or other days you wake up and you think, man, this is going to be a horrible day, and it ends up doing that. It's somehow when you have one set of thoughts or another, you start scanning the world around you looking for evidence of what you think to be true, and it almost presents it back to you, and you keep confirming it by your actions. Because as you think, so are you. Well, the second thing that can raise your frequency is this. Emotions can actually raise your frequency. Proverbs 17:22, it says, "Laughter and a merry heart are good medicine." The opposite is also true. Proverbs 14:30 says, "Runaway motions corrode the bones." Now think about this. The bone marrow is where a lot of your blood cells come from. It's where your immune system is supported and the lymphatic system is supported. Now think about when you have an emotional drain. And when you have an emotional drain that just starts corroding the bones, and you wonder if maybe thousands of years ago Solomon was actually onto something. Because see, it's your thoughts that can raise your frequency. It's also your emotions that can give you abuse with immunity. Your emotions can give you abuse with every other thing that's going on in life. There's a third area as well. The third area is this. It's touch. Now, we've discussed this one at length in the book, so I'm going to just kind of skip right through it right here, but I'll say this. What people are discussing and discovering is that healers emit a steady heat out of their hands of 7.8 hertz. It's almost like there's this ongoing electrical flow, and when healers actually go to pray for people, it's said scientifically that over 200 volts actually come from their hand. And non-healers normally have about 4 volts. 200 volts coming from your hands. 200 volts is the same amount of voltage coming from an electrocardiogram that's used to reset a heart rhythm. I tell you, that will raise your frequency. Well, the fourth thing is this. Essential oils can raise your frequency. We discussed that at length as well when we talked about habit number 2, touch. The fifth thing that can raise your frequency is, get this, sound. Now, let me kind of prove it to you. Sound can create a story or a mood all by itself. Imagine right now if you see a video, and in that video you have a person running down a dark alley. It's either early in the morning or it's late at night. And all of a sudden we drop in the theme from Psycho. And that Psycho music is playing over and over. Instantly your emotions kick in, and instantly because of that sound you have ideas and thoughts, and you start going off into a direction and making judgments on what is happening. At the same time, if the same person is running down a dark alley and I start playing the theme to Rocky and start playing that music, your emotions, your thoughts, and every idea that you have goes into a completely different direction. You see, sound, words, they have power. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. And when you speak, when you voice things, when you listen to music, it completely has a way to affect really what's going on with you. I tell you this, go into an area, into your city that is economically depressed and down, and just listen to the music that reverberates through the air. Listen to the sound waves. And then go to an area that seems to be doing pretty well and just listen to the sounds that you hear. And you too will probably agree that sound actually has something to do with what's going on. It's deeper than you and I might have thought. Another area that can affect and raise or lower a frequency is actually prayer. Prayer can raise your frequency by as much as 15 megahertz. And that's done in medical tests and labs. Positive thoughts is as much as 10 megahertz. Now, when you look at the chart on frequency of what I showed you earlier with the healthy human and where that is and where flu and cold symptoms start kicking in, and you look at the idea that you can raise your frequency by up to 25 megahertz just by having positive thoughts and confession and by declaring with a sound what is going to happen and by praying and by laying on hands of oils and by getting other factors involved here, look at all of the amazing things in Therapuo that actually are in your control. When you start stacking them, you start looking at it and going, wow, we're actually stepping pretty close to miracle territory just with the tools that Jesus has given us. Well, the final area that can raise your frequency is healthy food. We're back to that one. And as I've said before, your spiritual breakthrough, your physical breakthrough may very well be dependent upon the things that you're eating and drinking and how you choose to ingest things into your body. There's a chart that I put there in your book, and if you look at that,